It's the huge heads that just allow us
Yeah.
to really get a good echo chamber going.
Yeah.
We, the hosts of this podcast, in order to record amorephillyunion, discuss recent Union games, examine the latest Union news, celebrate and lament the newest player rumors, and increase our Union fanaticism, do record, edit, and distribute this episode of amorephillyunion. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
And I'm E. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, you like that one?
That was a good one. That was pretty good.
And we'll have to see. Maybe that one will stick. I don't know. We're still playing with the preseason
the preamble
options. I'm still favoring the preamble of the Constitution. I know others are exploring other options, which will be fun to see what else we can come up with before.
But yours is pretty close to the preamble of the Constitution, isn't it?
Oh, it's paraphrased, right?
Yeah. We tried one like that like a week or two ago. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I kind of like it. That's good. I like it.
I tried to shorten it a bit because I know the first one we did was kind of laborious.
Yeah, I was pretty much trying to do a 1-to-1 swap out and it just didn't work. No, I like that. That was really good.
So we'll have to see how many digressions we take today as we record, because there's not a whole lot of stuff to talk about. We definitely want to hit our housekeeping stuff as far as to help the U challenge. Just as a reminder, during our preseason, we haven't announced our challenge yet for this season. But if you're motivated, please go ahead and visit unionfoundation.org and click on that donate button. Feel free, if there's a comment, or feel free to tell them you came from More Philly Union. If there is a comment option there. Definitely want to support the foundation to do good work. As far as downloads and listenership, I understand we have a new international download.
We have a new international download from the Great White North. So our hearty welcome to the folks up there in Canada.
Nice.
So I was actually surprised. On the map, this big highlighted section. It's like, oh, look at that. It's like I had to go back and look, and we actually haven't had a download from Canada before. So kind of thought we did, but we did not. So thank you to the individual who is spreading the word here.
Do you happen to know which province they were in, or
Ontario?
Well, very cool. Maybe we can work up. There's 12 provinces, if I remember right. Maybe we can eventually get all of them. Who knows?
That'll be our fundraising goal. If we can get all 12 provinces from Canada.
Prince Edward Island's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's a long shot.
Not to mention Manitoba.
Huge following in Nova Scotia.
Yes.
You never know.
You never know.
All right. So this week we actually do have a couple of games that the Union played.
Mm-hmm.
Two preseason games. First against CR Flamengo from Brazil, and then against Austin yesterday. Obviously here in the MLS. We were fortunately, Trevor made the trip to see the CR Flamengo.
Good job, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Trevor. I think we need to I don't know. We're not paying him, so we can't give him a raise, but it'll look good on his performance review.
Trevor did appear in our Instagram stories last week, just in case you missed that.
We should start like a Where's Trevor campaign.
Yeah.
So that was great that we were able to watch the game, at least somewhat. Obviously, the Austin game we were only able to follow via the ongoing posts that they were keeping up, kind of diary. I don't know if any of that made it to their Twitter or their X feed. I imagine some of it did.
I think it did as well. Yeah. I was watching on the site itself, but.
I actually watched part of the Flamengo game. I did not follow the Austin game too closely. Did either of you watch the Flamengo game, or obviously, Chrissy, you just said you were following the Austin game?
Yeah. No, I missed the Flamengo. I just kind of caught up later. The fact that it was all kinds of new people, or people who don't typically start. and or play.
Yeah,
So,
I imagine that was the case for both teams, but I don't
mhm.
know Flamengo, and yeah,
Yeah.
there were definitely a lot of Union's younger players got a lot of play time in both games, which is good. You know,
Mhm.
that's an option
Right.
for them to play. And first off, about this Flamengo game, that stadium was a heck of a lot more packed than I expected for a preseason game.
Yeah,
And there
I
was a
did see
lot
that.
of red and black there. They were either
Yeah.
playing Flamengo or they were playing the DC United from the amount of
Yeah.
red and black that was down there.
They travel back in time and they played the Metro Stars.
Yeah, right. Um, so little disheartening that there were that many
Yeah.
non-union fans there, but at the same point, that was why Flamengo traveled. You know, they wanted
Yeah.
to see some of their fans
That's right.
in Florida, and you know,
Absolutely.
I'm glad that there was an atmosphere for the game to happen. That
Hmm.
was probably a lot of fun for the players.
It's kind of like when, was that with the Farfan twins were here, right? When Real Madrid came through and, we played them at the link. It was safe to assume, or it was no surprise that there was a lot of white jerseys in that stadium. Not, and they outnumbered the blue and gold of the Union. So I got to imagine it's something of a similar, pro rating down there in Florida.
Yeah, I would imagine you're right, and it certainly turned. You know, it's good to have that away atmosphere for the
Hmm.
players to get that opportunity to do it, especially since, you know, I don't have the box score up here in front of me to see when they started making subs, but I understand that Gazdag and Aura have not shown up for preseason just yet. My guess is that they have some allowances for what I don't know if they're with their national teams or they just get a little extended break before they have to join the rest of the team. But you know, it was definitely not the lineup that you would have expected to be the number one lineup for the Union. My guess is that Curtin's treating this a lot like the NFL
Yeah.
treats preseason, where they really try to work the young players in the early games, and then as they get close to more towards the end of preseason, we'll see a standard Union lineup come out at least for the first half in those last two games of the preseason.
Oh, sure. I mean, especially when you look at, the starting lineup and you have like when Donovan and Sullivan are the more senior players on the field in terms
Yeah.
of, on field time.
Hmm.
It's definitely you definitely know you definitely know you're in the preseason.
Watching this game, it definitely felt like, you know, the Union were trying to control the ball, and Flamengo was fine to let them do it, and then Flamengo was good to hit them on the counter and you know, throw more haymakers at the Union. Um, First goal actually was a penalty kick. Blake came out to play, you know, they made it. Flamengo had a counter, got it into the box. Flamenco player was carrying it. Blake went out to challenge for it. The guy chipped it over Blake, and Blake took him down. So it was pretty clear and obvious. You know, definitely was a PK, and they finished it. Uh, but it wasn't from the run of play. So a little bit of, you know, solve for the wound there to give up a goal like that in the first half. The second goal, I think that was in the second half. That was just a beautiful shot. The guy barely got into the 18-yard box. He was on the left-hand side on the attack, and curled it around the defender in front of him and hit the upper 90 far post. It was a really nice shot. You know, sorry to see him score, but it was well struck. The defender probably could have closed him down a little faster, but on the whole, it was just a really good offensive play. Um, Other than that, though, it did seem like the Union were trying to generate attacks, but just couldn't find those final couple of passes to spring a player to get good shots off. They did have a number of shots. I don't remember what was in the box score now, but you know, they showed okay. Um, Obviously, would have been nice to get a goal or two to you know, not totally get shut out.
Hmm.
I think it's good for them, especially for the young guys and new guys and all that, to have this chance against a club that is formidable. Like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier, you know, to just understand what it is to play against a team like that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, even if it's once and done for a while, it's just, you know, that all adds to the experience. So
What was it you said that Curtin said about the value of the players on the field?
How did he say it? $200 million on the field.
Hmm.
So yeah, he was definitely, it was the loss was not of great importance to him, or at least he was not letting on if it was. But I don't think it can be at this stage of the game. He just seems like that there were a lot of people there too, whether they were for or against the union. I think it must be it's an atmosphere to respond to, otherwise it just feels like training.
Right.
And you don't have that urgency one way or the other. So
Yeah.
It's almost like immersion therapy, in the sense of you get into this little bit of a cauldron, throw in your younger guys, kind of, they have to weather that type of environment a little bit.
mhm.
Fortunately, it doesn't really have any real consequences in terms of how the season's going to go, but you get used to being in a bit of a loud, very enthusiastic fans of the other side, and just kind of thickens, toughens up your skin a little bit.
I mean, the other thing they could do is send you guys and your brothers down. I'm sure that would
that
sound like about 40
that
people
would
put
level the
together.
field a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Get
bit.
those lob voices bouncing around the stadium. Sure.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
the empty cranium that I think
Yeah,
really projects.
it's the
yeah,
huge heads that
the
just
huge,
allow us to
yeah,
really get a good echo chamber going.
yeah, good resonance there. Did Blake play all 90 minutes of this game?
No, no, Holden Trent
Well,
played in the
Trent came in.
second
Okay,
half.
I was curious.
But a little bit concerning on the Union's one article about the game is, they mentioned that Gazdag and Ora haven't joined the squad in Florida, but Carranza, Flock, and Baribo were unavailable to play due to injury. So I don't
Huh.
know what injury they're dealing with, but hopefully it's just mild, or maybe it's quote unquote injury, and that way they just didn't have to play the first preseason game. I don't know what. I'll have to keep an eye on that moving forward.
Maybe they went to Las Vegas with Zach Galifianakis. Did everybody have all their teeth?
Well, I mean, it couldn't have been too bad because Carranza did play in the second game. So,
Hmm.
I mean, unless I don't have anything else about Flamengo, we can skip on to the Austin game, which at least had a Union goal in it, which was good.
Well, really quickly, Montale was just picked up in the Super Draft about a month ago,
Okay.
so that's why
That's who it was.
he's the one who from BU
Right. All
when
right.
we were talking about before. So
So the second game was a 1-1 draw to Austin. And it did include, let's see, it says here, starting 11 featured a far more experienced crew than it did on Sunday, with multiple starters returning: Julian Carranza, Jack McGlynn, Nate Harriel. Obviously Nate and Jack coming back after the Slovenia game, where both of them got no. Jack got playtime. I don't think Harriel made the field for the U.S. versus Slovenia game. Um, and then Carranza, I guess, was healed up enough to play the first half and ended up getting the goal. Again, only have the tracking here, but it does. It was Sullivan to
Yeah.
Carranza for the goal.
We did catch a replay it somewhere, and
wait, what do you?
of the goal that Union got.
Yeah, on their social account.
I wonder if Trevor sent them a copy of it.
It was a very nice nutmeg. I feel like the keeper was caught looking, or not looking, depending on how you think of it.
Yeah, I mean, the description here is Julian Carranza scores first goal of preseason, combines with homegrown Quinn Sullivan in front of the net, and the Argentine finishes it off between Austin's keeper's legs for the score. That was 6 minutes after they subbed out Blake for Montale.
And as of yesterday, Gazdag is in training camp. I guess he's just not playing just yet.
All right, good.
But it looks like he just landed. So
I see like these senior guys are showing up at practice, like still wearing their bathrobes and
yeah, martini in hand.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Lebowski.
Hey man, there's a beverage here.
What I don't see, just there it is. So it looks like 10 or so minutes into the second half, Austin got tied it up.
Into the
Daniel
second half.
Pereira.
Into the second half, yeah, because we
Yeah.
were 1-0, I think, going in.
Yep. So Blake started it. Then they put Montali in for a bit in the first half. He probably looks like he played about 20 or so minutes of the second half, and then they put Trent in for the remainder of the game. So far, Holden Trent hasn't given up any goals. That's something. You know, he's been a shutdown keeper.
Trent from the Independent.
I know. I thought of it too.
Other than that, just the amount of young players that saw time there was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the second half lineup that the Union played. I had Mbaizo and Bueno and Donovan and Matt Real were the four that saw time on the field of any significance. I mean, Raffanello was in there, but other than that, a lot of them are new. Some are just new to the club altogether. So good to see. You know, we'll have to see if any of them play well enough in Jim's mind to earn some sub time or maybe even a starting position.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on with Bizo too, because I feel like the whole visa thing for his family and all that, it felt like it was more imminent that he was going to have to pack his bags and go. But the fact that he's still here, hopefully that means, you know, nobody reported on it, but hopefully it means that maybe that's getting resolved. I mean, regardless of Bizo playing for the Union, which I do like and I want to see that, but it's just hopefully he's able to have his family with him now.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know.
No, I haven't heard anything about
ever
it.
since the initial announcement. That was the first and last thing I really heard about it, except for occasional references back by commentators and basically us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and if any listeners out there know the answer to that question, if you do, feel free to share with us at pod@amorephillyunion.com. But
yeah,
I guess we could do some legwork ourselves. But yeah, I'm
just
glad to see you still here.
It hasn't hit any of the news feeds that I've been following in the off season as to whether or not anything was adjusted with that.
Yeah.
But we did get word that the Union acquired a defender by the name of Jose Jamir Bernadaccio.
Berdicio, maybe?
Berdicio.
I know, we'll see.
He's on loan from a Bolivian club for the year with an option to purchase. So I guess we'll see how he progresses with training through the year, maybe get some time and see if he warrants being brought back on the club option for next year.
Seems like he's getting the Ernst Tanner treatment, right? Bring him on for a year, see how it goes.
Hopefully this guy works out. I mean, he's 21 years old. He's played for the Bolivian U23 national team. So, you know, decent pedigree there. And he's kind of small. They listed him at 5'8" and 160 pounds or something like that, which for an MLS defender is relatively small. Maybe he's an outside defender.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's a left back or a right back rather than a center defender.
Yeah.
You know, not Wagner and Mbaizo aren't physically imposing players, but they both to be fair, Mbaizo definitely has bulked up a bit since he joined the Union. I think Wagner has as well.
Yeah.
Ray isn't the biggest guy either.
What's that?
Ray Gaddis.
Nope.
True.
Not the biggest fellow.
Yeah, true.
But to your point, usually on some wing.
Yeah.
My brain is broken as to which one.
Interesting that they brought in a defender. You know, with Bedoya not being on the roster, and again, who knows what's going on with that, and Wagner signing the contract and kind of securing his spot on the team. You know, when it comes to like getting another player for the team, defender doesn't necessarily jump to mind. I'm not saying we shouldn't get a defender, but it's just curious that they went with the defender.
I would say of the four defensive positions, the one that we really need some backup on is that left back. So maybe that's what this guy is. I
Hmm.
don't remember. Yeah, I don't see if he's a left-sided player or left-footed player or anything like that. But I mean, other than Wagner, we don't have any true left-leaning outside
Hmm.
backs. Matt Real has played there.
Hmm.
I think even Harriel has played out there from time to time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he develops. Yeah, 5'8",
Yeah.
150 pounds. So he's not a physically imposing specimen at this point. But like I
Yeah.
said, he's only 21, and you can get him on a good weight training program, and he'll probably bulk up pretty quickly.
Or maybe they're looking to do a little bit more, pressing and attacking from the wings, that
I,
attacking defender position.
but I do think it's pretty clear he's not a center defender.
Yeah.
He'll be chewed up against some of the bigger MLS forwards would just run over a guy that size. So we'll have to keep an eye on him, see if he gets some preseason play time.
Yeah.
So as far as the Union go, the big notice that I just saw tonight was that
Yeah.
Tommy Wilson is
Yeah.
leaving the Union Academy
Yeah.
to join Charlotte FC as their new technical director. Certainly a really great opportunity for Tommy. Taking on that role at any MLS club will be a huge opportunity, but
Yeah.
it's really going to be
Yeah.
sad to see him go from the Union's academy because
Yeah.
he's worked 10 years, I think he's been
10
with the
years.
Union Academy now.
Yeah.
And the Union Academy routinely gets ranked number one or in the top three at least in MLS academies because
Yeah.
of his hard work and his leadership.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I mean, he's a guy who works, fairly upstream in the whole player production streamline. And, having been at that job for 10 years and, I think we've seen the result of his work and the other folks like him, generating these consistent, good young players, your McLeans, your Aronsons, your, yeah,
McKenzie.
Mackenzie's. And so, yeah, when I saw that article, I mean, one, always happy for, union folks going on to bigger opportunities, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, like we're losing one of our home growers.
Yeah. So in this one article here, it says in the past 2 seasons, Tommy Wilson played a key role in overseeing the signing of 17 players to MLS Next Pro contracts, including 5 from the academy in the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
His player development strategy has yielded impressive results with 38 players moving on to sign professional contracts and 18 players joining the Union as homegrown players.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and then it says here, Wilson has significantly contributed to talent identification and development, shaping the careers of notable individuals such as Brendan and Paxton Aronson and Mark McKenzie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I will bite because I don't know, what does a technical director do?
So Ernst Tanner is the technical director.
Okay.
The chief technical officer. Basically, he's going to oversee everything about the club, but the day-to-day training will still go to the manager, and the game performances will go to the manager. But he'll oversee the academy program in Charlotte. He'll oversee the scouting of players in Charlotte. He'll work with the coach to attract, draft, recruit players to come join there. He'll be part of the negotiations of all of the contracts that go on down there in Charlotte. Anything that has to do with the club, he'll be involved in down there.
Yeah, I for some reason thought Ernst Tanner had a different title, but that makes sense.
You probably are right. I don't remember what Ernst's title is, but essentially it's
essentially the same thing.
Sporting director is Ernst Tanner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Philadelphia Union sporting director.
Okay.
I just had flashbacks.
If there's any slight difference there, although I imagine it's minimal. But go on.
I just having flashbacks to say anything. I don't want to direct anything that's technical. I don't want to get technical about directing. I don't want to.
Yeah, so that'll be sad to see
Yeah.
Tommy leave, but he certainly he's established a winning approach here and a pathway for a lot of players to come up, and hopefully that funnel is full of quality players, and we'll continue to as fans of the Union, we'll get to watch these kids keep coming up, which would be great.
I mean, hopefully he does a good job at Charlotte, but not too good of a job.
And not when they play the Union.
Not when they play us, exactly.
Uh,
I like to think like all these former Union staff and technical people going off into other teams. I like to think this is actually just a larger part of the Union network. They're going out as like sleeper agents, and then at some particular trigger or signal, then they sabotage their respective element of the club.
Curtin will walk over to him, right before the game. It says the Mockingbird tweets at midnight, and eyes glaze over, and it's like Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah. There's a big high back chair that rotates around, and it's Ernst Tanner petting a white cat, and he's like, everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
I'm now getting flashbacks to the Naked Gun when was that Reggie Jackson was playing the baseball game. Must kill the queen.
So Christy,
we all know the trigger word is Latu, I think.
Yeah. Code word is Latu.
We have a code Latu. Code Latu.
Yeah. Code Latu.
As far as socials going this week, there was a bit of news there. Curtin and his wife celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary.
Yes, and they put up pictures from their wedding, which of course was I can't remember sitting here right now if it was December or January, but it was a December or January wedding, as we've discussed before, very common for MLS players, but they look like absolute infants in the picture. But anyway, yeah, apparently they also did one of the social things where they asked all the players a question, and he mentioned that they went to Costa Rica for their 20th wedding anniversary, which was very nice to hear.
Oh, they're down in Costa Rica
between the holiday, during the time off.
Okay, but I mean it was this year for their anniversary. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Nice.
He was probably down there scouting Saprissa for the
first. She's like, "Can you not?"
Yeah.
As we've alluded to, in less fun news, still nothing on Allie. And still is now in bold in our notes. But so I was spotted on the socials shoveling snow with his wife, not looking too happy about it, and also defeating her at paddle, which is a sport very similar. I just learned this myself, but it's very similar to pickleball, of Mexican origin, that he and his wife own or at least in part own a paddle house place in New York City, where that they own at least part of.
That's cool.
So apparently he destroyed her and she was already plotting her revenge. So but which is all fun to see, but just sad to realize how far he is from Florida.
Yeah.
So get it together, guys. Figure out something, even if it's not playing, even if it's something else. You can do better than this. So
have him start the Union paddle team or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of talked about this a little bit. I mean, aside from just not having Allie on the team, it's just such a anticlimactic way to end his career here. It's like we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. If anything, just I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but if it was,
I mean, if they end up not having him rejoin the team, and maybe they'll have like a tribute game to him at some point, and maybe not this year, but next year they put him up there in the Ring of Honor. It's not the last time he'll be involved with the
Union, but it just would have been.
It would be nice to just get some sort of word. If it's going to happen, great. If it's definitely not happening, make that announcement too. Some sort of a thanks, Allie, for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the silence feels almost insulting at this point.
Yeah.
Admittedly, there could be talks going on that we don't know anything about, so that might be the wrong response.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but it feels very much like I don't know, like they're just trying to kind of let it dissipate, and it's not going to that easily. I really don't think it will. So
Well, we'll have
address
to
it.
keep
It's time to
watching.
address it.
Keep watching, keep hoping. We're still relatively early in preseason.
Yeah.
Although we are a month away, I believe, from the CONCACAF Champions Cup game in Costa Rica. I believe that's February 24th.
The home opener versus Chicago is on February 24th.
Yeah, it's the home opener. So as we record, we are 1 month away to the day from the home opener against Chicago.
Wow.
Right. So they got Saprissa on the 20th of February
Right.
in Costa Rica.
And that's, you said that's the
CONCACAF
Champions Cup. Okay.
If they want to get Ali back in time to be a part of those first couple of games, he is going to need some preseason training.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get that worked out and done, and we can put that to bed and look forward to the season.
Besides paddle.
That's right. So speaking of preseason, the Union do have a game this Saturday against NYCFC at 11 in the morning. And then they're off for a break until February 9th. So they've got a game on the 27th, and then they've got essentially 2 weeks off before they play Cincy on Friday the 9th. And then the following Wednesday, the 14th, they will finish their preseason games against Revolution before they travel. I'm assuming they'll travel that weekend or late the following or early the following week to get down to Costa Rica for their game against Saprissa.
They're going up against their last MLS preseason game will be against Caleb Porter's New England Revolution.
Yes,
which was kind of nice to see him get that gig.
Well, I mean, he's too good of a coach not to end up somewhere, which is
sure.
Where.
Sure.
When do we get Wes Anderson's Austin FC? That's what I want to know.
Wes Anderson's Austin FC.
When you said Caleb Porter's New England Revolution, I mean, it just struck me as Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Somebody needs to make a Wes Anderson.
Somebody now needs to make that Wes Anderson trailer of Austin FC's season for 2024.
That would be so funny. That would be awesome.
Make it happen.
That would
Somebody awesome. Make it happen.
Come on, internet, do it. Get McConaughey in there.
Get a Lyle Lovett as well, maybe.
Yeah,
McConaughey in a Wes Anderson movie would be so much fun.
That'd be
great. That'd be a nice.
Austin, you're sitting on a gold mine.
Make it happen.
I mean, they're both Austinians. That's not a thing, but I just decided it is.
Austin.
Well, what's his name? Lyle Lovett's from Lubbock, Texas.
I believe so.
He just feels like his personality would seem to suit well for a Wes Anderson movie.
The deadpan, yeah, absolutely. He was in movies for a hot minute too.
Well, he was in Fear and Loathing. He had a cameo in Fear and Loathing. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. That kind of tracks though.
Yeah. And it was a very bizarre scene that he was in.
Yeah, that also tracks.
I mean, most of that movie is a very bizarre scene.
One long bizarre scene.
That's what I was
But say. We digress.
Shocker.
So I don't have any other notes for this week. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to cover tonight?
No, I think it's kind of a short one. I think we're just, still getting going. Us, the team, everybody. Yeah. All I have to say is figure it out with Allie. Just figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out, guys.
One job.
Yep.
They have multiple jobs.
They have a lot of
those jobs.
But one of them is to do right by him one way or the other. So.
All right. So that's our recorder for this night, for tonight. And you can follow us. Our website is amorephillyunion.com. Please reach out if you want to get involved and share any feedback on the podcast. Our email is pod@amorephillyunion.com. You can reach us at X at amorephillyu. On Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, we are amorephillyunion. As a reminder about our eclectic Spotify playlist, find us under amorephillyunion.
I have love me now going through my head that are loveful.
I wonder if there's going to be some Lyle Lovitz joining the playlist. We'll have to see.
There might be. There might be.
As a reminder, you can get our podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. So thanks everyone for tuning in for another episode of A More Philly Union. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
And I'm E.
Oh, Union!
If your starting 11 has an average age of 21, you just might be in the preseason. And I will edit that out.
I think that's best.